What's good, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of The Puncher's Point with yours truly, Breezy and Mario. We got breaking news. It seems that the Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk rematch will take place December 21st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, confirmed by ESPN, Mike Coppinger, it has said that Turki Alalshikh had came out and stated that the rematch will be taking place later on at the end of 2024. The original date for the rematch was supposed to be October 12th, but that did get pushed back according to Turki Alalshikh. And now we will be having a rematch the same year we had the first match, which will be December 21st, as I said, in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. Now, a lot of people, had their speculations and their thoughts and had their comments and had their point of views about the first fight. In case anybody don't remember, Alexander Usyk became undisputed after getting a split decision victory over Tyson Fury, and when most people say probably one of the best heavyweight fights that you could add to the history. It was a very competitive fight. If you watch the fight, Fury did a lot of controlling in the early parts, and towards the ending parts, Alexander Usyk did a very nice job of coming back, especially with rocking Tyson Fury in the ninth round and making it a very competitive fight towards the end. So, with all that being said, like I said, the rematch is scheduled to take place this December. Now, I dropped the news to you. I want to pass it over to my bro Mario. Mario, what's your thoughts on this rematch happening? And what's your thoughts on this rematch happening in December?
There's a little quote that a lot of people would like to say about this. If the fight was nice, it's got to happen twice. And you know what? We get in this fight two times now. This is the second time they go running back. A lot of people think Alexander Usyk won. A lot of people think Tyson Fury won. Obviously, this is one of the classic heavyweight fights when we go back and look at it years on, and we're going to realize how good this fight really was. However, if we go back and we really look at the fight, you can make an argument for both guys. You can make an argument for both guys. Again, we can go back and recap the fight, but we're not going to do that. What I will say is, first of all, shout out to His Excellency. Shout out to Turki Alec Kishi for basically making this fight. Shout out to him for just making big fights in general. And when you really look at it, a lot of people hating on him, they got to stop it. You know what I'm saying? This guy is making the big fights happen. He's paying these fighters what they deserve. And on top of that, it's a very exciting time for boxing fans. And what I respect about him the most is he's not sticking with one brand. It's not like he's just Team Day Zone. He's did events with Top Rank. I'm hoping that PVC is next and he can do some events with them because he's not on just one team. And on top of that, he's getting these promoters to come together and make not only big fights, but big events. And that is huge for the sport of boxing. Now, going back to Usyk versus Fury, too. We were on the Fight Party podcast. We talked about this with them. And obviously, they even had their opinions. One guy said that the Tyson Fury could have easily won that fight if he just stick to what he was doing. And now we're going to get the rematch, which means Tyson Fury gets to learn from his mistakes. And I remember this topic came up and they asked us, they said, do you think Tyson Fury can bounce back? And the answer was, we never seen Tyson Fury bounce back. We never seen him take a loss. We seen him took a draw to Deontay Wilder and we seen him bounce back from that, but we never seen him take a loss. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he's going to handle his first professional loss. On top of that, it's going to be very interesting to see if Usyk can defend those belts. They say it's easy to win the belts, but to defend them, that's a whole different challenge right there. And I feel like even though the first fight was great, the second fight has the potential to be just as great. Both of these guys obviously have done amazing things in the sport of boxing. When it's all said and done, their legacies are going to go down in the record books. They're going to be future Hall of Famers. And I'm just glad that we're getting this fight. Some of us didn't think we were going to get the first fight. Now we're going to get two from these guys. If the second fight is half as good as the first fight was, we're in for a banger. And honestly, I'm very interested to see not only how Tyson Fury responds, but how Alexander Usyk handles being a champion. Because we've seen it many times in the sport of boxing. Fighters win belts and they lose them the next fight, everything like that. And we've seen guys have tremendously long runs. We've seen Deontay Wilder and Klitschko go on runs and championship victories years and years and years. And we've seen guys who won the championship and lost it with a snap of a finger. Guys like Teofimo Lopez, guys like George Kambosos. So when you really look at this fight, I think it's very, very important. And on top of that, I mean, the stakes I feel like are just as high as they were the first time. It's the same place. It's for the same prize in the sport, the undisputed heavyweight championship. And again, this isn't shocking because there was definitely a two-fight deal. And after the fight, they both agreed that they were going to run it back. December 21st, I'm going to tell you this right now, it's going to be a very early Christmas present for a lot of people because I do think that a lot of people I want to see this fight again. And if they don't, I feel like they're just Tyson Fury haters or they're just not fans of Oleksandr Usyk. But I feel like a lot of people, a lot of boxing fans, if you saw the first fight, why wouldn't you want to see this fight again? It was one of the best heavyweight fights we have ever seen. You got two guys fighting for history. You got two guys fighting for the biggest prize in the sport of boxing, literally the biggest prize. The heavyweight championship is the biggest prize in the sport of boxing. It is the most prestigious prize in the sport of boxing. So if the first fight was great and everything was on the line, why wouldn't you want to see that again? I'm honestly excited for December 21st. I'm excited that it's going to be taking place in the same place, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Excited that His Excellency is going to set up this fight and create this fight. Now, the only question I have is what's the event going to look like? Who else is going to be on this card? Because it was a good card the first time around, but you got to beat it somehow. So I'm wondering who's going to be on this card. I'm wondering if they're going to have Jai Opetaia back. I'm wondering if they're going to add some more heavyweights to this card, if they're going to add, a big co-main event. Who knows, man? Obviously only time will tell, but I'm really excited for it. Now, again, before I pass on to you, obviously you're going to give your thoughts and everything like that. But I have one quick question for you, and I would like you to answer it while you're giving your thoughts. Do you feel like Tyson Fury can bounce back after taking his first professional loss, or do you feel like Usyk is the guy to have Tyson Fury's number?
Like I say with every fighter, one loss does not determine who you are as a fighter. And I really wish boxing fans will stop playing that fickle mindset. Because if you ask me, it's really fickle. And remember, they only had that energy when it's the favorite fighter of theirs. They only had that energy when it benefits the fighter that they like. If a fighter that they like loses, oh no, he can come back, he can come back. But if it's a fighter they don't like, then the energy is different. I'll be real. I keep the same energy with every other fighter. Fighter that I like, fighter I don't like. Y'all obviously know I don't care for Tyson Fury. But I'm not gonna say because he had won the fight, he's a bum. No, I mean, if you watch the fight, we can all agreeably say that it looked like Fury was taking the early rounds. He was using his range. He was keeping that distance on Fury. He was keeping that distance on Usyk, keeping him at bay, just making it tough, using that reach advantage. If he would have stayed disciplined to that, he could have won that. You know what I mean? So, for all I know, he go in the rematch and he can do that all 12. He can literally just go out there and just keep that jab on him, keep that range, and put his weight on him the whole 12 rounds come December and win his belts back again. That could happen. So I won't sit here and be like, oh no, he can't beat Usyk again. No, it's boxing. Anything happens in boxing just as much as Usyk can win, Fury can win. Now, as far as my thoughts on this fight happening, first of all, I agree with Mario. I don't understand all this Turkey Alalshikh hate. And I know a lot of people was like, but we want some of these fights in America. But has it ever occurred to you maybe we don't get this fight in America? It's better for it to happen than never. Like I get it. I get it. He's not in the States. I get it. He ain't did nothing crazy in the States. But at the same time, how do y'all know we was gonna even get Fury and Usyk in the state?
If you go back and you look at some of the greatest fights in boxing, they happened outside of America. One of the most iconic fights in the history of boxing, the Rumble in the Jungle, Ali versus Foreman, it was in Africa. Ali versus Frazier, Thriller in Manila. I mean, when you go back and you really look at it, a lot of the greatest fights that have happened in the sport of boxing have happened outside of the country. And look, I'm gonna be honest. I was tired of every single fight being in Vegas, and I understand people being tired of some fights being in Saudi Arabia. But let me explain something. I'd rather see a super fight in Vegas or a super fight in Saudi Arabia than not get the fight at all. And I just wanted to point that out. It's better. You're absolutely right, 100%. It is better to get the fight, no matter where it is, than to never get it at all.
And how do we also know that the people in the States was going to do Bivol and Better Beef? Now, look, obviously, Better Beef had an injury, but what I'm saying is this, though, right? Everybody loves saying we want the best to fight the best until it's time for it to happen or until it's time to get it cracked and sealed and dealed. See, the problem with it is that when you finally get something that you want, now it's something to complain about, right? We complain. We literally sit right here and watch folks complain about, oh, there's nothing going on in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is dry and boring. It's like a desert. Okay, cool. Turki Alalshikh getting the game. He's trying to make these fights happen. Now y'all talking about, oh, it ain't happening in the States. I don't care if it happened in the hood. I'd rather see it than not to see it. Y'all just whine too doggone much. And then I get sick of some boxing fans playing that little crying game. Do you want the fight or not? So I'm glad this fight is happening. Shout out to Turki Alalshikh. I can't wait to see what he does in the future, man. You can tell he's trying to make the best fight the best, and you can tell he's trying to have boxing fans' best interest at heart. But unfortunately, they just love to be toxic for God knows what. But December 21st, y'all know what the deal is. Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury for the rematch for Undisputed. And who knows, we might even get a trilogy. But at the same time, though, aren't you happy that you're getting it than not to get it? So that's my thoughts on that.
And I would say this, the people who aren't happy about seeing this fight, I feel like the only logical reason why they're not happy is because I feel like now a lot of people want to see Joshua versus Fury. And they want to see it happen in Wembley Stadium or Wimbledon or something like that, a huge stadium, which don't get me wrong, they fight and it's in the UK. Oh, you better believe every single part of the UK is gonna go watch that fight. You better believe they're gonna have the streets packed to go see that fight. And it's going to be a fight for the record books. Mark my words. I'm gonna go on a limb and say this. Fury versus Joshua, if it takes place in the UK, will draw more money, mark my words, than McGregor versus Mayweather. Mark my words. It is going to be the highest grossing fight of all time. I'm telling you. I'm saying it, Breezy, right here, right now. It is going to be the highest grossing fight of all time. So I understand the people who want to see that fight. I understand it, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of fighters chasing greatness, and this is a perfect example of chasing greatness right here. Two heavyweight monsters, two guys who are going to go down as future Hall of Famers. They step into the ring together. It's a very close fight. One gets to win over the other. The other one feels like he got robbed. Let's run it back. And again, I'd love to see him, man. We got a lot of great rematches in history. Ali, Frazier, Tyson, Holyfield, Wilder, Fury. Now we're going to be getting Fury, Usyk. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a great time to be alive for boxing. And the fights are just going to keep piling up. They're going to keep racking up. We had a great 2023. It's a great start to 2024 season, even though we're halfway through, which is crazy. But I'm just glad that we get to see these great fights happening, man. And for all those people who want Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, my message to you, have patience. I'm telling you, this fight is going to happen. And it is going to happen in the UK. Now, if this fight happens in Saudi Arabia, you're going to hear it from me, because as much as I would love to see these fights, and maybe I sound like a hypocrite right now, as much as I would love to see that fight happen, this is the one fight where I want it to be in the UK. And I feel like that is reasonable, because it's just going to generate that much more, and it's just that more important to the UK. But obviously, time will tell. But I do have a feeling that fight's going to happen. But until then, give me Fury and Usyk too. Obviously, we're definitely going to predict it. And I feel like we've been talking about Fury and Usyk a lot. I feel like this is like the fourth topic we've had of them in the last 4 months or something like that, maybe fifth. I don't know. But we've been talking about these two a lot. So it's going to be interesting, man. But with that being said, I would love to close the episode down, but Breezy's better at that than me. So you know what, Breezy? Close it down for us.
Y'all know what the deal is. It's the Punchers Point. We live and we tapped in every single week on some Saturdays. We do the fights, post-fights reactions. We got fight announcement, fight updates, upcoming fights, schedule fights, breaking news, announcements, all kinds of things. You know where to find us. There is no reason or no excuse why y'all can't find the Punchers Point or subscribe to the Punchers Point. So we're everywhere now. So booyah, gotcha. Ain't no excuses now. You know what the deal is. It's the Punchers Point. We up and we live every single week. But without that, make sure y'all stay on point with the Punchers Point.